Hitting that intro in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jose here at the First Round By Podcast, accompanied by my boy, Mr. Sauce.
What is going on? I'm actually having some issues with trying to figure out which camera to look at. That is awesome. This is actually another monumental episode. This one is episode 55. And you want to know why?
At this rate, every episode is monumental because we're actually recording.
That's why it's monumental. This is great.
Oh man,
2 weeks in a row, baby.
Let's go.
But we got some juicy topics to talk about. But first, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Jose, we are starting off with a trivia question. We're too cheap to have sound effects, so. All right, hit him with it.
I got a question for you fellas and ladies, or lady. Anyways, so Steven, maybe you can answer this, at least one team.
I hate you.
So there is 12 teams that have never made it to a Super Bowl. Or that have never won a Super Bowl. Four of them have not won.
We already know who one team is.
We'll get to the answers later. But
yes.
There's 12 teams who have never won the Super Bowl. Can you guys guess at least half of them?
At least half of them.
At least half of them. Keep that in mind, and we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you
later on in the episode. And for bonus points, how many of them have never even made it to the big game? Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Silence.
So I love it. Yeah, so we're trying something a little bit different today. We're pretty excited about it. I'm excited. Actually, here, let's cheers since we can.
Ripperooskies.
There we go. Ripperooskies indeed. Ripperooskies.
Go ahead, Steve.
All right. So let's get this party started. So obviously one of the funniest things that occurred last week. So we had some technical difficulties again, per the usual. We were discussing Mr. Justin Fields. And it was a pretty good discussion and everything. But as we were recording, literally as soon as we got done recording, Justin Fields was traded.
Literally, we had pushed stop like on our dang machine, and then like 2 minutes later we get the ESPN notification: Justin Fields has been traded to the Steelers. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, we literally just got done recording. We released episodes the next day, and then we were pretty much like behind.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it's gone. That's how it is now, especially in the NFL.
Yeah, dude, the first week of free agency was completely wild. Like there was so many moves.
Absolutely. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please check out our previous episode, Free Agency Madness. I can't remember what I actually named it, but it was
starts off with a bang.
Hey.
Something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, so now that Mr. Justin Fields is a Steeler, what are your thoughts on that? How are you feeling about that?
Well, one thing that really surprised me, so I think I can't remember if it was the day of or the next day after he got traded, there was reports going around talking about the Steelers are not naming Justin Fields a starter, that Russell Wilson is still the starter, which
makes sense.
No. I mean, to me, you can give me your point here in a minute, but it doesn't make sense to me. How are you gonna go ahead and announce the starter when you have two potential QB1s on your roster? Or let's just say Justin Fields outplays Russell Wilson in the training camp, or vice versa. How are you gonna name a starter before even training camp starts? With, like I said, with both of them having the potential to be QB1. So how does that make sense? Because then think about it this way.
Oh man.
Because then I feel like if you put that out there, it's not gonna give. It might not give Justin Fields a motivation because he's like, well, I'm not even going to start. It just puts it in his mind, which granted, I know, he's going to want to go in and do his thing and try to get that number one spot. But at the same time, I feel like that's something that you don't announce before at least training camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I could see both sides to it. One thing that I thought was very, very interesting was because I thought it was kind of crazy that, and I always say it's kind of crazy. Everything's just kind of crazy. But I thought it was interesting that before the Justin Fields trade, how many other quarterbacks were moved around and stuff? There's a ton of movement of quarterbacks. So like Jacoby Brissett, Sam Howell, a bunch of these
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. A bunch of these lower tiered.
Marcus Mariota.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
Mariota.
hold on. Have you seen how much he's aged?
Oh my gosh, it's so bad.
I saw like some memes talking about it looks like he was in the Oval Office.
he is looking rough, and really his play is about as bad as he looks. Ripperooskies indeed.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go back to what you were saying.
But yeah, so there's been a lot of quarterback movement going on, right? So obviously it begged the question, like, what in the world was going on with Justin Fields? So one thing that I actually had read this week whenever I was just trying to catch up on all the news, because of course there's been so much news, there was actually multiple suitors for Justin Fields that were wanting him as either QB1 or as a backup and everything. And I guess the Bears, the front office, they actually listened to what he was saying, and they granted him the ability to go to the Steelers. So he wanted to go to the Steelers.
Interesting. So he called his own shot in a way?
Pretty much. And in all honesty, I think that was a good move by the Bears, especially since like all you could hear is noise about Caleb Williams. Everybody's just talking about how Caleb Williams this, Caleb Williams that. He's so much better than Justin Fields. Justin Fields sucks, all this other stuff. And for them to be able to say, you know what, we hear all this going on, we're going to actually, we'll let you choose. Because that, from what I was told or from what I read, the Steelers offer wasn't even the highest offer on the table. Mm-hmm. So the Bears they took a lesser deal to make him a little bit more happy.
Interesting. And I've been reading a lot, and this is like in the comment sections of like NFL posts and stuff like that. And mm-hmm. this is kind of my thought as well. And I'm interested. You
are interesting.
I'm interested as to hear your thought, because a lot of people are kind of angry and upset because they feel like the Bears kind of did them dirty, just mm-hmm. because you finally bring in, I'm not going to say all these weapons, but you finally bring in all these weapons and then you get rid of the guy.
Absolutely.
So like, where was all that help? Granted, I know they brought in DJ Moore, which I mean, in my opinion, he's not really like an ultimate wide receiver one type of guy, you know?
Right.
But like, what do you think of that situation? I personally feel like they did kind of do him dirty.
No, 100% they did him dirty.
I feel like they should have let him.
Which is why this whole situation with letting him choose to go to the Steelers, it had to happen, because otherwise it's like, dang, that poor guy, he got done dirty.
Oh no, dude! I feel like this is a rocky situation to be in, because I personally feel like they should have kept him for at least one more year.
Right.
Let him test out that offense first, and then with the number one overall pick, they probably would have picked Marvin Harrison Jr. if they kept Justin Fields, mm-hmm. and then they would have had all this offensive power. If he still wasn't cutting it, then maybe next year look into getting a quarterback. But and the thing that I don't like about this too is Caleb Williams. Yeah, he has a lot of talent, right? Mm-hmm. But he also has like this baggage that he carries around with his attitude and. And he's been getting a lot of shit for not participating at the combine, and
right.
I think he didn't participate at the pro day.
He didn't.
But the thing is, too, Marvin Harrison hasn't been participating either, and he's not getting as much hate as Caleb Williams is.
Oh yeah. Well, the top prospects most of the time they're not going to, because at the end of the day, and I've read this recently too, the combine is mostly just it's a fan event now.
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the combine. Like, yeah, you can kind of tell like a lot from some of these prospects.
What's your favorite drill over there?
I don't know, probably the 40.
Yeah, literally. Okay, you ask anybody, and most of the time, a casual football fan, all they're going to give a shit about is the 40 time.
No, but I mean, seriously though, like, there's nothing really. I mean, the tape speaks for themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you want to go learn about a player, go watch the tape.
Oh yeah.
You can't really compare like the freaking drills to an actual freaking game, because whenever you're in drills, first of all, you're wearing freaking short shorts, a tank top.
That's right.
And you're not wearing any equipment. When you're playing a football game, you got freaking 20 plus pounds of equipment.
Yep.
You're under pressure. You got fans surrounding you. It's like a different environment. So it's like, and even like at the pro days, whenever they're throwing, the other day it was showing
there's no pressure.
They were showing like Caleb Williams throwing the 70-yard bomb. Like, there's no pressure. There's no fans. Like, there's no padding. There's nothing. Like, to me, pro days, combines, they don't mean shit. Am I wrong?
No, for the most part, they don't. Most of the time,
like, I can throw a freaking 70-yarder in a pro day. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to find all the cameras to look at to give the obscure look of, what? Are you sure?
Hey, I played quarterback in the 7th grade.
And you were the best damn quarterback out there. Yeah, no, I can agree with that sentiment. I've gotten to the point where I only watch it for the 40, and I don't even watch it anymore. It's slowly declined to becoming that, because I don't really give a shit about the other stuff, because kind of like what you said, there's plenty of tape out there. You can just go turn on the tape and stuff. So now getting back to the original point of Justin Fields and everything, like the whole idea of why not just take Marvin Harrison and all that good stuff. So one of the luxuries that we have as fans, which I sometimes forget about this, because I'm like, yeah, why not just draft him? Well, people in front offices, they got jobs that that are on the line. So if Justin Fields if he stayed a Bear and did not produce, then that meant that heads were going to be rolling. So that a lot of these guys, they're probably just trying to fight for their jobs and everything, which I don't blame them. I get it. I understand. But I also, plus you never know when you're going to be back in that position again. And if you're back in that position again because you kept up with Justin Fields, then that means that the entire roster that you put together has another year where they just didn't do well enough to the point where they're at the first pick of the draft. So, and in all honesty, this quarterback class is looking loaded.
Well, that's exactly what I said. I think I said this last episode, but I think it was the class. I forgot what class, 2020, 2021. The one where Trevor Lawrence was selected number 1 overall. I literally thought that was going to be the best freaking quarterback draft class ever. And
it should have been.
Look at that. Literally every single quarterback that was drafted except for Trevor Lawrence has been traded.
Right. Well, and I mean, that's the pure fact of the matter, is just that the draft is a crapshoot. Like, you can see all these different traits and stuff like that. And then you have to take a gamble. I personally think that it's going to be a great situation that Justin Fields is going to, because if he keeps a good mindset about it, Mike Tomlin, he's a fantastic coach.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's one of the best in the business.
Mm-hmm. Never had a losing record.
Exactly. And so he's in good hands. The thing that scares me most for the Steelers, they ain't got shit for wide receivers.
They got Pickens.
George Pickens, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do have Pickens. And then they got the tight end. He's pretty good. Pat, I can't even pronounce his last name. Yeah, whatever the hell his name is. Pat. Every time I see his name, I always go Pat.
That's true. You know what's actually kind of funny? Our buddy Matt Gainford, he's had that tight end like 2 years in a row in fantasy, and every single time I see him, I'm like, man, I always want to hear him whenever he's trying to draft him. He's like, Pat. There we go. That guy. The tight end from the Steelers.
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about this whole trade. Like, having 2 potential QB1s, like it could be a blessing.
There's a decade difference in their ages too.
Right. Like I said, it could be a blessing or a curse, because like I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure on the head coach, on the GM, and even on the players.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because they have 2 potential QB1s. It's like if one isn't playing well, like for 2 games consecutively, or maybe even 3 or whatever, like at what point do you plug in the other one, and then one starts playing good, then he doesn't? Like, do you start swapping them around? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like a weird situation to be in. I feel like
my guess is, because
it could be a good thing though. If one goes down, the next one steps up and plays good. I don't know.
Well, the big thing too is that they didn't spend very much capital on either one of those guys, because the Broncos are still they're on the hook for, I think, 95% of that salary for Russell Wilson, and then they basically traded for Justin Fields, like for basically
6th round pick or something.
Yeah, peanuts basically.
Yeah. Peanuts.
You never heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that, but it's just funny.
Hearing it in real time.
Jesus, boy.
Jeez.
Oh. This is, I don't even think we have this on our notes, but one pickup that I do like.
Oh.
Mike Williams.
I meant to write that down in the notes.
Mike Williams to the Jets.
You like that one?
Dude, I love it. Dude, I told you last episode, Aaron Rodgers is literally like at the end of his freaking career. Like, he's literally a hobbled man. Like, he just tore his damn ACL at age, 38, whatever the hell he is. Like, dude, like, if the Jets want to make some noise, which obviously they do, right? They got to load up that offense.
They do.
They got Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. Like I said, it's not primetime Rodgers, but, I mean, He might. What you're saying? He might have some flashes in the pan, or what'd you say?
Flash in the pan.
Flash in the pan. There we
Lightning
go.
in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle, baby. Fucking
right.
with the pads completely garbage. The Bills kind of rocky. I mean, the Bills are kind of weird. It's like they're really good, but they're not at the same time.
Well, they're banking because the
Dolphins too.
Because they got Josh Allen, that massive contract for Josh Allen, and then they've got Mr. Stephon Diggs all upset over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they can if Aaron Rodgers can play
more than 4 snaps,
average Aaron Rodgers type play. I feel like they can potentially win that division.
I agree. They are pretty loaded.
Yeah, the Bills are kind of rocky, man. Like you can't really trust them.
And I do think that it's a good thing that he's already got Garrett Wilson over there, because then not all of the pressure is on Mike Williams, especially
or vice versa.
Yeah,
or the running game.
Exactly. And yeah, no, going into the season before Rodgers got injured, they were a stacked team anyway.
Wait, and I think if I read correctly, I think the Jets were giving they were giving Zach Wilson permission to seek a trade.
They might as well.
It'd be interesting as to what team would be interested in picking him up.
I agree, especially since he just doesn't have the greatest mentality.
Send him over to the Titans.
No, we're already full up on the QB room, man. We got Malik Willis, we got Mason Rudolph,
Ripperooskies,
and then we got good old Will Levis.
Speaking of the Titans,
that's right, my favorite. Oh man, oh man, oh man. It was great. So didn't have a whole lot of access to social media or anything like last night because I was at work and everything. And I had just gotten off work, go get my car, not necessarily defeated, but just ready for the weekend to start. And I've been trying to keep up with certain situations in free agency and trades. I'm trying to set the mood here. And so I get in there, turn on my car, check my phone, and lo and behold, NFL.com says that La'Jarius Sneed is a Tennessee Titan. Let's go!
Ripperooskies.
That's right.
My boy gets to clap over there.
That's right. The Titans, they picked up the top corner on the I wouldn't even necessarily call it the market, because Kansas City was probably, if they weren't going to deal him, then they were going to definitely extend him. But it's a very, very good contract. And we got him for only a 4th rounder.
That's not bad.
In 2025.
How old is the guy? Do you know?
I think that's the big issue. I think he's like 20. He's either 27 or 28. So
you know what's crazy? Like, like I haven't really, like last year was like the first year that I really started hearing him on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, he's definitely a very, very, very good corner. Very good corner. And all of a sudden now, if you look at the free agent acquisitions and the trade acquisitions and stuff, the Titans, they got the number 1 center on the market, which was, I think his name's Cushenberry. And they got the number 1 wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, and now they got the number 1 corner. But they are in rebuild mode. They had a ton of cap space and everything. And pretty much that was the main reason why they got him, was because the Chiefs, they are strapped for cash and everything. So it's going to be very hard for them to retain him, especially after they just signed Chris Jones. His name's Chris Jones, right?
Oh, yeah, to that massive contract.
Yeah, and then they already had Patrick Mahomes.
On that ridiculously large contract, too.
So
if I was Patrick Mahomes, I'm like asking for them to restructure my damn contract.
I think he actually is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They need to do that because...
He's trying to do the Tom Brady treatment.
Well... You know what's crazy? I can't remember the exact number or the exact stat or whatever, but if Kirk Cousins, I couldn't think of his name. If Kirk Cousins,
Captain Kirk,
makes all the money that he's supposed to on his contract, he's gonna officially surpass Tom Brady for career earnings.
That makes sense.
That's crazy. It's a crazy world, or I guess market that is now. That compared to,
oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
But also what Tom Brady did was unprecedented, because he was the ultimate competitor. He wanted them to have enough cash to be able to build a good team around him. The mindset these days is just completely different, which I'm not knocking anybody.
Well, some people are in it for the money, some people are in it for the chips, some people are in it to make it to the Hall of Fame. Some people are actually
in it for all of those reasons
saying?
And stuff. So you got to start weighing your options. And
you got to just hope your freaking quarterback isn't a POS and just cares about himself and the money.
That's very hard to find. All right, so with that being said,
let's talk about the trivia question.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time. So
there's 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl, and I'm gonna go down the list.
I was about to say I'm not gonna be able to name half of them because when I got 3 cameras staring at me, I
Cleveland Browns. Is that a surprise?
Nope.
Detroit Lions.
Also a big nope.
Houston Texans. That's actually kind of a surprise for me. The Jacksonville Jaguars. The Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
The Los Angeles Chargers. That's kind of a surprise.
That is. They've had a lot of talented
Especially
teams.
with Phillip Rivers and Tomlin.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, there we go. The Tennessee Titans. They got
At least
close.
we made it.
They got close.
At least we made it.
The Falcons. Thank the Lord. Go Pats. Carolina Panthers. This is a surprise to me too. The Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, he's gonna turn that franchise around. Has turned that franchise around. He has. The Buffalo Bills, another surprise for me. I think they've gone 4 times and they've lost every single time.
Yeah.
Ripperooskies.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. That is especially since in a lot of these eras, since I've been watching football, each one of those teams has been very good.
Yeah, they've had success.
So who are the teams that have
never made it to the Super Bowl? Yeah, wait.
Was it never made it?
Man, we don't even know. Never made it because some of these other teams have made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so gotcha. The ones that haven't made it is the Browns, the Lions, the Texans, and the Jags.
Dang. 2 AFC South teams.
Ripperooskies.
Rooskies.
From the teams that you do remember that I just mentioned, which one do you think which one do you think will win a Super Bowl first? The Bengals?
Bengals.
Let me see. That's a good one. The Bengals is damn good.
Yeah, because I mean currently they got Jamar Chase, they got Joe Burrow, they've got T. Higgins, they still have a pretty good head coach and everything. So I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people or a lot of teams to win, especially with Mahomes being on that tear that he's on. My goodness.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Thanks for asking. I'm going to say the Bengals as well. They just, as long as Joe Burrow can stay healthy, which he's been kind of rocky with, as long as he can stay healthy moving forward, I feel like they have probably the best shot out of these teams to win the Super Bowl. Actually, that's kind of questionable too because you got to think about it. They play in a division with Lamar Jackson. North, yeah. Lamar Jackson's going to be.
You know who's a dark horse, and I hate admitting this. The Texans.
The Texans for sure.
Yeah, because CJ Stroud, he's nasty.
CJ Stroud's nasty. And, I mean, they like
You're welcome, Carson.
All the players they have on their offense, like a lot of them are like young.
Yeah.
You know,
Tank Dell,
Nico Collins.
Man, they're going to be a scary offense.
They're going to be good moving forward.
And they're going to be a good defense. They've been making some good acquisitions. So, you ready to pivot on over to the draft real quick?
Let's get it.
All right. So this year, this is one of the first years in a while that I've been like deeply connected with the draft. And by saying that, I mean like I've been following it a little bit more than normal. It's a very deep class when it comes to tackles. It's a very deep class when it comes to the wide receivers. It's also a very deep class whenever it's kind of a deep class whenever it comes to the quarterback class. But also the quarterback class comes with a lot of controversy. And part of the reason why is because of the fact that outside of Caleb Williams, outside of that, there is like at least 2-way battle, maybe even 3-way battle for the number 2 spot. And then everybody else, it's just so top heavy when it comes to the quarterbacks. And the wide receivers, they're nasty. So it's looking like the first 6 or 7 picks possibly. The Titans hold the number 7 pick, by the way. That is could be all quarterbacks and wide receivers, which is absolutely nuts to me. But a lot of teams need quarterbacks.
Oh, you know what's crazy too? What if the Bears don't even take Caleb Williams? What if they shock the NFL world and take Mr. Jaden Daniels with number 1? Do you think the Commanders take Caleb Williams with number 2?
100%.
That'd be Well, actually, yeah, I feel like in a way,
I don't see, man. Putting my personal feelings aside of how I feel about Caleb Williams as a prospect and everything, and as a human, because I don't personally know the guy. I mean, if he somehow fell to the Titans, I'd still want them to take him.
there's no way he falls that low.
There is no way, but it's just the thought of that.
Yeah.
Now, part of me kind of doesn't want to see him go number 1 overall because of the fact that. Did you see that shit that he said about how he didn't have, there's no plan B?
Yeah,
he knows he's good. I can appreciate some confidence, but that's like cocky, arrogant, and you don't ever want to tell prospective teams that you're gonna that I don't have a plan B. I am the plan A. I get that, but at the same time, it's like you got to have some sort of backup plan, right?
Yeah.
So,
all I know is
have you heard anything about Jaden Williams possibly going number 1 overall?
Not necessarily. I've seen nothing but Caleb Williams going number 1 overall. But I mean, like I said, you just never know.
You
like
never
a lot
know.
of people are just assuming. Well, obviously, Caleb Williams is good talent. I was actually there when he first made his debut in college football against the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, because that was when he was with OU, right?
Yeah, whenever Spencer Rattler was doing hot garbage, Texas was up big. I was there, and believe it or not, I'm gonna pull a Miss Raymond. Whenever I saw Caleb Williams get onto the field, I swear, it's an inside joke, fellas. But whenever I saw Caleb Williams go onto the field, my heart sank. I swear my heart sank because I knew he was gonna outplay Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
And then of course he did his thing, and he beat Texas or whatever. But that was, as a sports fan, as a Texas fan, that was literally one of the worst days of my life because we were up like 28-7, ending the first quarter, dude.
Dude, that is absolutely hilarious.
But
I love that so much.
With that being said, I would not mind Mr. Williams falling to number 3 to the Pats.
Because it's the Bears, Commanders, Pats, Cardinals, and then
I want to say, is it the Giants? No,
the Giants are no. It's Chargers.
Are
Chargers
you sure?
5th.
At 5?
Chargers 5th, Giants 6th, Titans 7th.
And it's crazy. Wait, is the Chargers number 5 pick? Is that their original selection, or is that a trade?
No,
that's kind of crazy how garbage they did last year to get the number 5, considering they had that loaded offense.
Oh yeah. Well, that's part of the reason why they don't have a head coach anymore. Well why
Jim,
they got a different head coach.
Right, and there we go, Jim. It's Jim that's at the Chargers. I remember last episode we were having trouble deciphering who was who.
Oh yeah. Mr. Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I do personally think that Caleb Williams is probably going to go number 1 overall. At number 2 with the Commanders. So
they need they're gonna select a quarterback.
They are 100% going to select a quarterback. Who do you think that they like more between? Well, actually, I was going to say between 2 people, but you kind of also have to throw JJ McCarthy in there too.
I feel
so it's either going to be Jaden Daniels, Drake May, or JJ McCarthy, in my opinion.
I think they're gonna go with Jaden Daniels, and it pains me to say that because I mean, if you guys have been listening, you guys know how I feel about the number 3 pick and who I want.
He absolutely 100% wants Drake May.
No, and you know what's funny? Like before Jaden Daniels even won his Heisman Trophy this past year, like. Nobody was talking about Jaden Daniels to that extent. Like, nobody was talking about top 5 pick. Everybody was assuming or saying he was going after the first round.
Right.
The dude wins a Heisman, and now all of a sudden, which, well deserved. Now all of a sudden he's like, top 3, top 5 prospect in the NFL draft, which is unfortunate because I want him so bad.
I'm kind of lukewarm on him. I like him as a prospect, but the thing that kills me is that, like, the receivers that he was throwing to, Malik Neighbors, who is a potential top 5 pick in the draft at wide receiver, and then I think his name's Brian Thomas Jr. Mm-hmm. Those were his two big targets, and both of them are going to be going high in this draft. So
it's the same
you got
situation
all that. You get all that talent. Who is Caleb Williams throwing to?
No, that's what I'm saying. But it was the same situation with Joe Burrow, like his MVP or Heisman season, the national championship season.
Right.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, at the whenever he was in college, Mr. Moss as a tight end, just incredible.
Yeah, no, and that definitely does make some sense and everything, and I wouldn't want to discount him at all with that being the case. But we also have to remember too that I mean, the Bengals ended up picking up Jamar Chase for Joe Burrow, and then of course there's that continuity there. But like I said, I mean, I don't think it's going to be necessarily a huge indicator of the success and everything. But that's why I do take a look at the stats kind of with a grain of salt, because of the fact that he did have two premier weapons out there and everything. So,
but to answer your question though, Mr. Caleb Williams was throwing to, I think his name was it Zachary Branch? I think his name was. I could be wrong, but he was like the number one ranked receiver. He was like a 5-star plus receiver, very highly recruited receiver. He was throwing to him, and I think he was a phenomenal football player last year. And then he also had what's his name, Brandon Rice, the son of Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I mean he's not. I know Jerry Rice, but
I hate you for that.
But you get what I'm saying though.
Oh yeah, that is. I don't know how I'm going to financially recover from this.
Ripperooskies. Another inside joke.
Ripperooskies indeed. But yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. So if the Bears take Caleb Williams, and then so Bears take Caleb Williams, the Commanders take Jaden Daniels, then at the 3 slot was
Drake May.
Well, wait, who did I say was picking 3rd?
The Pats.
Pats. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, who could forget the Pats? So, okay, so if you had the option, we're not talking Marvin Harrison Jr., so get that out of your mind right now. Who'd you take between Drake May and J.J. McCarthy? If you had a choice.
Honestly, like I haven't really seen either one of their play, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To really give a great opinion on. But just from what I've read and what I've seen so far, probably Drake May.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like J.J. McCarthy. I was going to say I don't think he's a first-round pick, but I feel like there's a ton of quarterback-needy teams that he's going to have to go in the first round, which kind of sucks, because I kind of want the Patriots to take like Marvin Harrison Jr. And then kind of wait and possibly trade and take like either Bo Nix or Michael Penix. Yeah. Or take Michael Penix and Odunze and just have them reconnect in the NFL somehow, some way.
Kind of like the whole Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow thing. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I don't know. There's just so many different possibilities. Like I said last episode, the Vikings traded the Texans, so now they own 2 2 first-round picks.
That's right.
Which like I said last episode too, a lot of people are speculating that they're going to trade again to move forward, because I guess they're really heavy on Drake May, to select Mr. Drake May. So, we'll see what happens. I
think they've got plenty of ammunition, so I think that
they got Justin Jefferson, man. Like, you got to do something with him. Like, he's definitely the best receiver in the league. You can't just have some freaking scrub throwing him the football. Like, you got to give him some help.
Oh yeah,
you got to take
100%. You do, and he would be the best. That's going to be going to an offense that is tailor made for a rookie quarterback. Like me personally, that's what I think. So
yeah, it's a good offense. They just need a solid quarterback to get in there.
And then I'm pretty sure that the whole football world knows that the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, well, if he's available.
If he's available,
for sure. He's available. I mean, because you got Kyler Murray already.
But if he's not, then they're going to take the next available wide receiver. So it's going to be either Odunze or Neighbors. I think that a lot of people have because Neighbors didn't work out.
Or Worthy too, or A.D. Mitchell.
I don't see them taking them that high, at least. I do see they could probably either take. I mean, they could just trade back because this, like I said, it's a very, very, very deep wide receiver class. I do like Worthy. I think he's worthy to be a great wide receiver. I'm not even going to try to hit the
that's the bottom left.
Nope.
Sorry, fellas.
That was.
We won't try that again.
That was a clap. But yeah, no. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then if the Chargers stick and pick, I'm guessing that they're probably going to go for a wide receiver because
they kind of need everything. I mean, well, not necessarily everything. They do have Herbert, which, like I said in the previous episode as well, if I'm Herbert, I'm asking for a trade. I don't care. I'm asking for a trade. Get me out of here.
So you don't trust Jim to turn that around?
Well, and if I was Herbert, I already had a solid offense, and I'm not gonna sit there and try to freaking rebuild. You know what I'm saying? He's potential, he's arguably in his prime or entering his prime, and I'm trying to play with the solid football team. I'm not trying to sit here and waste 3 years of, let's draft an O-line, some receivers, and hope for the best. Get me out of there. Go take me somewhere that has a good offense, kind of like what Brady did.
For sure. So, who do you think is actually going to try to get JJ McCarthy?
The Broncos.
You think the Broncos?
The Broncos.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos might try to get him. Who's another quarterback needy team? Maybe even
Vikings.
Who do the Seahawks have?
They still got Geno, don't they?
They have Geno. They tried it for Sam too.
I don't think that they're married to Geno though.
Well, like I said, they just got Sam Howell from the Commanders, so I think they're kind of rolling the dice with Sam. So I don't think they're going to be in particular looking for a quarterback, at least not in the first round. So, what's the team that you just said before I said the Seahawks?
Vikings.
The Vikings. There you go. The Vikings is another one for sure. I feel like actually I would like to see JJ McCarthy on the Vikings. That'd be interesting.
I think he would do really, really well with the Vikings. I think he would do well with the Broncos too, though. I personally think that starting him off with a good balanced attack, kind of like what he had over at Michigan, I think that would be great for him.
Or like a run first offense.
Yes, and then slowly try to as you see what you've got and get him more comfortable and everything, try to get him into more of a because it's a passing league now. I mean, obviously, you still want to run the ball effectively, but it's a passing league now. So you got to be able to at least keep up with most teams with scoring and everything. So I am so pumped for it. I think that it is April 26th.
I think you're right.
26th and 27th.
Yeah.
Or 26th, 27th, 28th.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, it's 26th, 27th, 28th. The first round is on Thursday. Per the usual, and of course I will be watching it, hopefully.
Oh, trust me, I will be too. You know what I mean? I can't remember the last time that the Pats had a top 5, top 10 pick. They're usually in the middle to late round or late first round. So
absolutely,
and it's usually not like what you said. It's usually not a sexy pick, except for that one time that you screwed the pooch and took freaking N'Keal Harry.
Oh my gosh, that was such a bad pick.
Dude, and they passed up on DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel, I believe. I was so pissed. I actually wanted DK Metcalf so bad.
Out of curiosity, so this is kind of an off the wall question. So I actually just found out probably this last week that Mike Vrabel, he is actually now back with he's back in Ohio with the Browns as player personnel or some kind of coach or whatever. So good on him. I liked him as a coach for a long time, but then I feel like his offense got antiquated, and I also felt like his defense wasn't as great as it should be, considering the fact that he was a defensive-minded coach and everything. Anyway, so he missed out on this head coaching cycle. Another legendary coach that missed out on this coaching cycle was Mr. Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on him currently?
I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean he's been coaching. Man, I didn't even want to take a guess. I want to say since the 1980s or some crazy.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I can't even remember for how long, but it's been a damn long time, and I do feel bad for the guy. I do definitely feel like he's definitely a better candidate to coach than some of these other guys that have gotten jobs this year.
Right.
I can't name anybody off the top of my head, but whenever this guy got a head coaching job, I was like, you're gonna pick this guy instead of Belichick,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I do, like I said, I do feel bad, but I feel like it's gonna be good for him to kind of step away from head coaching and kind of just watch as a fan and kind of refresh a little bit, and then hopefully next year, if he still has that drive to become to still coach in the NFL, then hopefully someone will pick him up and and he'll continue to coach because I can't remember I can't remember the exact number of I think he's like 10 or something like that wins away from being like the winningest head coach in NFL history.
Oh yeah, he's 100% going to come back at some point.
So I'd love for him to come back and get that record for sure.
Because one of these young coaches or one of these coaches that's like on the hot seat and everything. I mean, every single season, every single year, there's a head coaching vacancy that comes up.
You know who's on the hot seat?
Who?
Doug McDermott.
That's very true. I was actually kind of surprised that he made it through this season.
Honestly, if they don't, man, I don't want to set expectations for them, but he's on the hot seat for sure. I mean, you got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, you've historically for the past 5 years, had a decently good offense. Your defense has been pretty good. Like,
you just can't get over that hump.
You can't get over that hump. So
maybe
he gets fired or let go, whatever, and then Bill Belichick goes to the Bills. And how
man, that would be terrifying because Bill Belichick he gets the most out of everybody.
And he's obviously he's played in cold stadiums, so it'd be interesting to see him in the Bills.
That would be very interesting. So I'm so
Wait,
glad that
is it Sean McDermott? Or Doug McDermott. Who the hell is Doug McDermott?
Is it Sean McDermott?
I think it's Sean. I think I'm talking about some basketball player.
Funny story real quick. I actually
are you Googling this?
I am trying to Google it real quick. I was watching another podcast that I really enjoyed.
Sean McDermott. I apologize, and I'm actually really
good old Dougie McDermott.
I'm really glad that I caught myself on that because I think Doug McDermott is a freaking basketball player.
Yeah, so one of the podcasts that I was watching, they were supposed to be guessing.
Yeah, Doug McDermott is a basketball player. And the only reason why I remember that name is because he actually played for the Thunder, which
right, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah, Sean McDermott. I apologize. That's
but yeah, no. Like I said, one of the podcasts that I watched, they flubbed that up too because they were trying to answer a question, and the dude kept naming. He was supposed to be naming wrestlers, and he named a couple actors, and I was just like, wait, I'm pretty sure that's an actor,
right?
So that's hilarious. I mean, we flub up quite a bit. I think that we do a pretty good job considering the fact that we aren't on our phones 24/7 while we're recording this. So I think that us being casual fans and just pulling information from our mind, I was going to say out of our ass, but I think we do a pretty good job. So outside of that, I think that's all we really have for this episode. Jose, do you have anything for our wonderful viewers?
Per usual, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, I appreciate the hell out of you guys. If you're watching on Apple Podcast, do me a favor and go give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast.
Absolutely.
Give us a review. Let us know what you like, what you dislike about us. If you want us to talk about a certain topic.
Absolutely.
If you want me to shave Steven's arm hairs.
Listen, buddy. If you want to, zoom in on that bad boy. It's about as smooth as a baby's bottom.
You ripperooskies.
Shout out to my fiance.
Ripperoos. But appreciate you guys. Can't thank you guys enough. We're gonna be more consistent moving forward.
We absolutely are.
Steven, what you got for these fellers?
So real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to obviously you guys for doing an incredible job. So last time that we had checked and everything, right before our episode, I was kind of poking fun at the fact that we only had like 50 or something subscribers on YouTube. We are currently sitting at, as of this recording, 68 subs, which is awesome. And then of course, looking at the latest upload, so our episode from last week, it is already up to 32 views. That is awesome. I know there was a little bit longer form of a video than what we normally do and everything, but just knowing that that you guys are still consuming our content and everything, it's awesome. And like I said, we're gonna make this a consistent thing because, hey, I think we can go ahead and say it. We're back. We're back. We did 2 episodes in a row, baby.
That's it.
Let's go. So we do have some cool things coming on the horizon and everything. We will let you guys know as soon as we know, whenever it comes up. I don't ever like to make promises because typically anytime we make promises, all of a sudden we take a hiatus for
7 months.
7 months
or more.
Yeah, and then come back. But no, we are definitely dedicated to this. We want to make sure that we are putting out the best content. That's why we got all these cameras now looking at us. We're recording, we're having fun, we're enjoying it, and we want to share it with you guys. So per the usual, thank you guys so much for watching. Check us out at firstroundbuy.com if you want to pick up some merch. I'm not wearing the hoodie today. I was, but you can grab you a hoodie, t-shirt, all that good stuff. There's so much stuff on that site. So, and then of course, like Jose said, support us on the on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that good stuff. But with that being said, catch you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.
Peace.